Hello, my name is Terry Lynch. I'm an Irish medical doctor, psychotherapist, best-selling mental health author, mental health educator, and a provider of a mental health service, recovery-oriented mental health service. Today I want to talk to you about what I describe as brain worshipping within psychiatry. I came across a very good example of this last week, in September 2019, and I'd like to share this with you now. Wendy Bern is a prominent British psychiatrist, currently President of the Royal College of Psychiatrists, therefore a very influential and prominent member of her field of psychiatry. Wendy Bern is quite active on Twitter, and in September 2019, she issued the following tweet: "Our brains are responsible for every thought, every decision, and every move we make." And she included a picture of a brain in her tweet. She also included this picture from a lecture in which apparently these statements were also made. Every thought, every decision, every move. The brain. This is the link to this tweet. You won't be able to access this link within this audio-visual presentation, but you will be able to access it if you wish in the slides which accompany this video. The question arises, therefore, is the brain the master or the servant? It's quite clear from Wendy Bern's tweet, and indeed from mainstream psychiatry's approach in general, that as far as psychiatry is concerned, the brain is absolutely the master, no question about it. What do you think? From your sense of yourself, of life in general, do you feel that the brain is always the master? Let's do a simple exercise which will help us to answer this question. As you're watching this video, place your finger on the top of your head, just like that. So, who decided to do that? What decided to do that? Did your brain decide to do that? Or was this your choice? I know you did it because I asked you to do it. But nevertheless, if you did do it, you did it because you, the person, the being that you are, decided to do it. Not your brain. You, the person. The being decided, not the brain. Let's have a look at some impressive-looking pictures of brain scans that doctors often use to persuade people that their problem lies within their brain. We'll consider pain, the feeling of pain. The words beneath this illustration describe scan images, an MRI scan image highlighting the areas of the brain involved in feeling pain. The scan shows the regions of the brain that became more active when the subject's hand was heated to a painful level. The words are clear here. The feeling, the emotion, comes first, and brain activity comes second. The brain activity occurs secondary to the feeling in this case of pain. The words make this very clear. The scan shows the regions of the brain that become active when the subject's hand was heated to a painful level. The heating to a painful level happened first, and then the brain activity happened. What happens in relation to the emotion fear? Brain scans again. MRI scan images highlighting the areas of the brain involved when feeling afraid. The scans show that when your subject is frightened, a brain structure called the amygdala becomes more active. Again, the emotion happens first. The person feels fear, and the brain activity within the amygdala, part of the brain, becomes more active. The amygdala, often referred to as the cause, the problem in relation to emotions such as fear and indeed depression, the amygdala is reflecting the person's emotions, not creating them. The power, the sovereignty here, rests with the being, the person, not the brain. The person is the master. The brain is following the master. The brain is the servant of the master. The brain is following the lead of the master. Whatever the person is feeling, experiencing, is reflected in brain activity. What about love? Brain scan images again. MRI scan images highlighting the areas of the brain involved in feeling love. In one functional MRI study, the brains of people who were in love were scanned while they looked at photographs, some of their friends and some of their loved ones. When they saw a picture of their loved one, specific areas of the brain become active. The first thing that happened was they saw a picture of their loved one, and following that, these areas of their brain became active, reflecting in response to the feeling of love. The emotion is felt first. Brain activity occurs secondary to the emotion. Similarly with joy. MRI scan image highlighting the areas of the brain involved when feeling joyful. This scan shows the regions of the person's brain that become more active when he watches his football team score a goal. The emotion comes first, the joy at watching his team score a goal. And the brain activity, particular pattern of brain activity, occurs secondary to the emotion. The power and sovereignty here, again, rests with the person, the individual, the being, not with the brain. The brain is simply responding to, reflecting what is going on within the person. Smell, same thing. MRI scan images highlighting the areas of the brain activated by smell. The scan shows the brain areas that are activated by smell. The emotion is felt first, activity second. Depending on what the person is smelling, there is a subsequent brain activity response. The brain activity is reflecting the person's emotion, not creating them. Power and sovereignty, again, rests with the being, not with the brain. In relation to emotional and mental health, therefore, the brain is the servant, not the master. The being is the master, the person. The current global mental health paradigm is grounded upon this erroneous core theme, tenet, belief, that the brain is the master. This is no accident, as it is shaped by vested interests. What's going on here? Why would the president of the Royal College of Psychiatrists apparently believe and preach something that is simply not true? That every move, every thought, every behaviour originates from the brain. Wendy Bern is not alone. Most of her psychiatric colleagues apparently believe the same thing. But they are wrong. And as is often the case, when a group of people believe something that doesn't stand up to objective analysis, there's usually a vested interest of some sort. So what might be the vested interest for psychiatry? Why might psychiatrists be so adamant that the brain is the master? When you sit back and think about it, the reason is relatively straightforward. It is psychiatry who needs you and everyone else, and perhaps themselves, to be persuaded that the brain is the master. Because only if the public believe that the brain is the master will psychiatry maintain its prime position in the world of mental health. And that is why so many psychiatrists believe in something that the facts tell us very clearly are not correct.